Hello, and welcome to the Krispy Kreme channel where I express my thoughts and you, for some reason, listen to them. So, I've been trying to get this in for like the entire weekend, and this is finally some time I have to myself. And I want to talk about this. I know this is a cliche subject for anyone who lives in the UK, but I'm going to make a video about this anyway because it needs to be said. The weather here sucks, and it rains too much, especially in like August. And summer this year has been so wet and low-key cold. Like I was wearing a long sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve top last Friday because I was cold. Today morning has been nice. I managed to catch the sun, yay, and go out in shorts and a t-shirt. And I know I'm gonna get this in the comment section where people are saying it's haram to criticize the weather because it's the qadr of Allah and blah 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 blah. And we get that, and this is not really what this video is about, but you have to admit the weather's kind of naff. And it's hard to believe it's really summer because 3 weeks ago I was it's really disorienting, this weather. Like 3 weeks ago I was having a conversation about when my dad would go back to work, IRL, and he was saying, I'm not going on Monday. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it's May Day that Monday. And I'm like, no, because he has to finish self-isolating and he was negative with corona. Alhamdulillah. And yeah, and I thought it was May. I didn't know it was July because it was just been so rainy and cold. And I can't believe it's already July and the sun hasn't come out and it's cold and wet and it's hard to go out. And the thing that really annoyed me was last Friday someone had the nerve to write, "Is Britain getting too hot?" as I was wearing long sleeve top and trousers. And climate change is real. Like people using the whole rain and cold thing to be like, climate change isn't real. I don't see it happening in front of me. Like the rain itself and flooding twice itself is not an abnormality to the point where it shut down a lot of the tube and other rail networks in London. And yeah, but you really have the nerve to just say it's too hot. I hate it when people in this country complain that it's too hot because it's never that hot for that long. It happens for like the most 1 week, and everyone was like, it's too hot, it's too hot. And I'm like, no, this is what real summer is about. It's about being sweaty. I know that houses here have no air conditioning and they're made to retain heat, which the first thing is wrong, obviously, because we need AC. But anyone can just fit an AC unit into the house if they have the money, can't they? I mean, we haven't, but I, you know, air conditioning exists. Get it? And that's one thing. But then a whole other thing is the fact that this country does not is just so bad at handling the weather. Like it's too sunny, we're fucked. It's too snowy, we're fucked. It's too rainy, we're screwed. And I'm crazy sick and tired of it, especially with the rain. Like I've never had issues. The most issues I've had with the sun is not expecting to be out in the sun for such a long time, then getting slightly burned, which is what happened when I got my first vaccine, my first coronavirus jab last June, because I stood out in the sun for way too long, and even then I didn't get that burnt. But the rain is what really, really, really has ruined things for me. And for some reason, it can rain any time in this country, and they never seem to predict it correctly because I've on more than one occasion avoided going out on the possibility that it might rain, and then it never rains, and then I've wasted my whole day in an awful mood avoiding going out when I could have had a nice walk, even if it's just in the clouds. And I'm just stuck inside because of the weather can't predict the rain properly. Like, come on, you conquered 1 or 2/3 of the world, Britain, but you can't conquer your own weather. Did you get so jealous of foreign populations having more stable weather or predictable weather patterns that you had to colonize and dehumanize them to make you feel better about yourself? You still can't predict the rain properly. And and when it does rain, there's no contingency plan for rain. Like I it's either you do everything under the rain or things get cancelled. There's no adaptations made. So this particularly annoys me because last week at the end of my work experience projects, I had a meeting throughout the morning, and it was pretty sunny in the morning. Um, I it was, but I had to prepare for that presentation all morning. So shortly after that presentation, I walked out. It was still like a bit cloudy, but it didn't seem like an issue. And then it about half an hour as I was coming back, it poured down on me, and I was so wet. And I'm like, we need to start having an in case of rain protocol for everything. In case of rain, schedule online meeting during rain so that people can go out outside of the rain and make sure that the rain is predicted properly, not like some weird inaccurate estimate that they always do because they never seem to predict it properly on the BBC or AccuWeather. And that's annoying thing number one. Another issue I've had in terms of power through the rain or get it cancelled was, so in my primary school we used to have end of year trips to the park where we just play around as our classes, and we'd have like loads of fun games and stuff. And when I was in year two, they had to cancel it because it rained. And my mum, who was probably, even though I have an older brother, probably still getting used to the whole how ridiculously bureaucratic this country is. She's like, well, can't you just take them another day? And she's like, no, 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 no. We have to fill out a whole nother, we have to send letters, we have to fill out a whole nother risk assessment, blah, 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 blah. And this country is way too bureaucratic and there's too much paperwork to get anything done here. It's so annoying. Like 4 years of dealing with my student union has really, really tired me out with all the paperwork. Um, that's another incident, and then the final incident, and this one really, really, really pisses me off, was I don't know if there was rain predicted for this day, but during my year 11 geography trip, we were doing an urban regeneration project, and for the most part it was cloudy and it was fine, but then it started to rain. The only adaptation we made was that we didn't have to do field sketches, which I don't see what the point of them anyway are, because we have phone cameras. We have professional cameras? Why do field sketches? But we had to spend a lot of the day in the rain, and it got to the point where I couldn't move my hands properly, and my socks were soaked with water. And all I'm saying is, and I'm just sick and tired of this whole, you either have to do it in the rain or you don't do it at all when something is scheduled for outside. And I'm so sick and tired of how the fact that this country doesn't seem to understand the concept of a contingency plan for rain when it is known that it can rain at any time in this country. I mean, we need to get our act together. We need to really learn how to properly handle rain, because it's just, I'm sick of the overly rigid scheduling that says we must do things to this schedule and anything in other way is not acceptable. And I know I'm gonna have a lot of people in the if this video ever like gets like so many views that it becomes, if I become a real YouTuber or something, that I'll have people lecturing about like, oh, but people with autism like rigid schedules, and I'm like, well, we also like to have contingency plans just in case, because I'm autistic and I hate being rained on. I hate being rained on. I don't. Um. So yeah, make contingency plans for rain, and stop expecting us to get rained on. It's not the law. It's somehow in a passive way the law that we get rained on in this country, and then there's no contingency plan. Like this country just can't handle weather if it's not cloudy and bland. It has, and uneventful. Like I get that rain, and I get that rain and snow can have damaging effects. But the fact that this country can't handle weather, rain, it can't make contingency plans for rain, it can't handle the sun, it can't handle anything, it's crazy. It needs to stop, okay? The thing that really makes British weather bad is the fact that the culture surrounding it is awful as well, and it needs to change, okay? Learn the concept of a contingency plan. Okay, the keyword here is contingency plan. I'm going to say it 3 more times. Contingency plan. Contingency plan. Contingency plan. If hopefully you can lip read that if you're deaf. But I'm going to write it in the comment section anyway. Contingency plan for the rain. Okay. Links to my social media are in the link below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, subscribe, and share. Bye bye.